Welcome to Veranda IAS. This is a foundation course for environment. In this, we are going to analyze a previous year mains questions. This is a part 2. In the previous session, we have analysis about the concept and factual based question, and in this, we are going to analyze a question based on map and current affairs. Let's start the question. The first question is, what is wetland? Explain the Ramsar concepts of wise use in the concepts of wetland conversion. Cite two examples of Ramsar sites in India. Here in this question they are asking about the wetland and they are also asking about the Ramsar concepts, which means a wise use in the context of the wetland conservation, and they are also asking about two examples for Ramsar sites in India. In this they have correctly asked the concepts of the question. You need to answer what asked in the question. We need not answer extra out of the questions, and the question is we need to answer what is wetland, and we need to explain what the Ramsar concepts of the wise use is, and we also need to explain about the two examples of the Ramsar sites. This is what we need to explain in this. The first, we need to explain about the wetland. What is wetland is? We need to also explain about what is a Ramsar concept. First, we need to explain about wetland, and we need to explain why Ramsar concept is talking about the wetland and why it is done. We can use wetland for the heritage sites and also for many things. And now here comes an example. You can add a silica lake which is present in Odisha, and this is a coastal end of a Bay of Bengal. This is an example for the Ramsar site. This is how we need to consolidate the answer. First, we need to write what is wetland is and what are the concepts of the Ramsar site and also the example for the Ramsar site. This is how we need to consolidate the answer. In this, we will have a limited number of words, like as they have mentioned what they want, so you cannot explain out of the concept. So, you need to write more thing, but it should not extend the weight of the answer. And the second question is, how does biodiversity vary in India? How is the Biological Diversity Act of 2002 helpful in the conversion of flora and fauna? Here comes a question about the biodiversity. They are not asking about what is biodiversity. They are asking about how does biodiversity vary in India, which means they are asking to compare the biodiversity of India with the other things. And here they are also asking about how is the Biological Diversity Act of 2002, especially they are asking about 2002 helpful in the conservation of flora and fauna. They are asking about conservation of flora and fauna. So, in the biodiversity, you need not explain about all things which is present in the biodiversity. You need to explain about how does biodiversity vary in India and how the Biological Diversity Act of 2002 is helpful in the conservation of flora and fauna. In this, first we will be explaining about how does biodiversity vary in India, what are the species present here which is not present in the other area out of the India, and we will also be explaining about the ecosystems somewhat in the lines of where it is needed, and we will be explaining about Biological Diversity Act of 2002, which is a three structured answers. They will be talking about the biodiversity originations, and they will be talking about the heritage and about the priority of the organisms, and they will be asking about the conservation of flora and fauna. This you can be also talked about the illegal transaction of the flora and fauna. So, you need to mention what are the troubles facing by the flora and fauna also in 2 or 3 lines, and this is how you can explain the answers with the helpful in the conservation of flora and fauna. This is how we need to consolidate the answer. I will repeat again, you need to say about what is a biodiversity vary in India, and you need to tell about Biodiversity Act of 2002, what it is talk about, and you need to explain the 3 tier systems, and you need to explain about helpful in the conservation of flora and fauna, how it is illegally transferred and how it can be avoided also. This is how we need to consolidate the answer. And now comes here a question, how it will be a map based question. In this, you will be explaining about the flora and fauna, and you will be talking about the a specific place where flora and fauna is found. So, in this your map will be represented as where it is present and what are the outer area, what are the coastal areas of the flora and fauna. This is how the map based question comes. It will not directly ask you to explain where the site is, how the site is, and interconnecting the states or interconnecting the rivers or from the different parts. This is how the questions will be. We need to consolidate the answers and we need to write it as a concept based or factual based as we need. And here comes a current affairs question based on EIA. EIA is an environmental impact assessment, and the question is a straight question. They are asking about the difference between the notification of 2020 and 26 of EIA, 2006 of EIA. They are asking a difference between the two notifications. We need to explain what is the difference between the two notifications. We need not explain much about this. You need not explain about what is EIA, when it is implemented, who implemented. These kind of answers are not needed in this concept. They are straight away ask the questions like what is the difference between these two. So, we are explaining about the difference between these two notification, and the example, the difference you can say is like the category for A, B1, B2 is explained in the both the thing of the notification, but B1 and B2 is not clearly explained in 2006 notification, and it's only for a farmer is 2006 notification, whereas for 2020 they explained about or all the one comes under the agricultural form. This is how we need to differentiate the two difference between the EIA notifications. We need to consolidate the answers based on the questions. Even if it is a 150 words, but we have only a limited number of words, and if it is a less than 150 words, we need to go through that and we need to add some points like in introduction you can add like what is EIA in a very simple word as a one line or a two line, and if it is comes under a conclusion you need to consolidate the answer by this is how they are differs and what is the impact from this notifications or and how it will be helpful for or how it will be affect us. We need to explain all this and we need to conclude the answer. And the second is that we are here explaining about the targets of achieving a renewable energy, and why the renewable energy is in current affairs in a recent times is government is expecting a more number of renewable energy to be implemented in the rural areas or in the tribal areas, which is need to be done. So, the government is implementing a national program for a light emitting diodes, which is a LEDs. Why specially they are mentioning about LEDs not for a solar is the LED emits a less number of greenhouse gases, so that a solar energy will be obtained and it can also be used, but LED is used much than the renewable energy. We have two sources of renewable energy, which is a hydraulic and a solar energy. It is a major traditional form of renewable energy we use for a very long time. So, this gives us a more number of renewable energy. So, in this question consolidatedly we need to answer for current status to target achieved for a renewable energy. What is a current status? What are the renewable energy we are getting it? We need to explain about hydraulic and the solar, and we need to explain what is a current status. The current status is 175 gigawatt of a power need to be achieved in 2022. Currently we achieved 56 gigawatt in 2006 report. So, accordingly we need to achieve the renewable energy as per the current status. So, then you need to explain about the importance of the national program emitting in the LEDs. You need to explain about what is LED, why LED, not the other renewable sources, and this is how we need to consolidate the answers. And if it is a LED, is it possible to give for everyone, and write why in a very simple form, and in a conclusion you can conclude like this is how the renewable energy can be used, and these are the renewable energies, and these are the importance for the national program of LEDs. This is how we need to conclude the answer, and we also need to be very conscious that the answer should not be out of the box. As we discussed earlier, when we read this question, we will have more number of data than the concept in the question and what they are asked in the question. We used to write that not only the renewable energy, we will start writing about all kind of renewable energy, but we need to consolidate our answer for a 150 words. This is how we need to consolidate. So, the consolidation of the answer should be very conscious that it should not be out of the box, and the concept of the question should be what is the answer question. The answer should be based on the question. This is how we need to consolidate the question. So, then Here we analysis about the mains question based on the concept, factual, map and current based. Overall, we need to make a factual and the concept based question, make a map points and make a site points and make current notes for a correct sites. Thank you.